It's really talking about, you know, God. Um, like people, think in Christianity it's three different gods: Holy Spirit, Father, and Son. No, it's not. It's all one God, three different parts. Kind of like a person has a soul, a spirit, and a body. We're not three different people, but we have three different parts. An egg. Take an egg. You have the egg shell, you have the egg white, and you have the yolk. It doesn't mean it's three different eggs. It just means three different parts to one egg. You see what I'm saying? So, in effect, that's what it is. Or he is, I'm sorry. You know? But anyways, the finished work, he became the law. So, instead of breaking out the old checklist and kind of check, I gotta work on this, check. That's religion. That's religion. That's religion. I mean, in the Old Testament days, I pretty much think that's probably what they did. I mean, they lived by the law, and then that's when Christ came and said, "Okay, hey, look, Christ didn't come to do away with the law. He came to fulfill the law, meaning." Again, seek God for yourself. I'm not a preacher. I'm not God. Seek him for yourself. I'm gonna keep saying it too. Seek him for yourself, because I'm not taking responsibility for lazy people that don't want to seek God themselves. Okay? You want to know how I came to know all this stuff? Because I seeked God. Okay? Seek God for yourself. I mean, I seek God through prayer and I do my best. I'm still trying to learn how to study the Bible. I'm not a very good study person or anything. I mean, I'm really, but still, I mean, see God for yourself. But anyway, and I'm just trying to show you, or I'm just trying to help people out. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not sitting here trying to play God or nothing. Seek him for yourself. Please do it. But when Christ died, he became the law. So you know that's instead of breaking out a checklist and of do's and don'ts and work on this, I'm good on that, and this and that. I mean, he became that law for you. So now the law lives in you. So now, through resting in that finished work, which I'm about to get more into, you know, uh, he will change you from the inside out, and just living the law will become a lifestyle, kind of like you wake up and you breathe. Like I'm breathing now. Well, it's part of who I am. And that's, you'll just live it out. Not because of some checklist. You won't be living it out under your own power. It'll be God's power in you, causing you to follow his laws and decrees. Christ did not come to abolish the law. He did not come to break the law or do away with the law. He didn't just come down here and said, "Okay, forget about God and what he says. Everybody just run around and be idiots. Go ahead. Everybody's going to heaven." That's not what I'm saying. That's not what he did. Christ came to not take away the law, but to become the law, so the law can live inside of us and just, renew us and be, what I'm trying to say? I mean, maybe not. I don't know. That's just the best way I could really put it. And that's a process, and the only way to do that is rest in the finished work of Christ. But the finished work of Christ it's done. It's already done. There's no more nothing. Just rest in it. He broke the curse of generational, family, personal. Like if somebody, I don't know, put a curse on you or something. Well, I mean, it's he busts chains of addiction. Like I said, pornography. A lot of pornography is a big one nowadays. You know, um, it's. I mean, it's everywhere. You can go to the dollar store and get a phone for probably like close to $30, maybe even cheaper in some dollar stores. I mean, really. And get a little prepaid card and hook it up, and there's your your little pornography session right there. I mean, really, I mean, it's around every corner and every turn, and it's just the world we live in now, and it's easily accessible to all, and it's sad, but it's true. And if you got caught up in that or whatever, you could definitely he defeated that too, and that's called the finished work of Christ. Is rest in that. You know, just YouTube it or something. Again, use discernment, please. I mean, obviously, you're on YouTube now, but just when you get done watching my video, stop me and click on something else. If you really want to learn more about it. But if you're struggling with something, there's your answer. You don't need to go to. Look, I'm not sitting there saying that support groups aren't healthy. Sure, they are healthy, and I think in a lot of ways, we need to go to them. When I say we, obviously, I don't. I just mean whatever your problem is. If there's a support group and it's in, it helps to be around people of like mind or similar struggles or whatever. It's nice to just walk up to people who aren't going to judge you and say, hey, this, because they are. If you're there, you already know. um so whatever it is. I've never been to a support group. I probably should have went to one for a problem that I've gone through for a long time. um it's a family issue, but I'm saying, like, drug wise, God delivered me from nicotine. He delivered me from caffeine. He delivered me from wow, so much stuff, really so much stuff. um the list goes on and on and on. Look, you're not going to tell me that the resurrection is not real, because I know better. You might not, but I know better. You're not going to tell me, because if it wasn't for the resurrection, I'm sitting here smoking cigarettes and drinking soda like a pig and doing everything else I was doing before. That's just the way it is. The only reason I was ever healed from that stuff is because of the resurrection and that finished work of Christ. You know, you don't have to be a genius in some crazy theologian or whatever to to understand God. Trust me, it's a very confusing world out there. You got different people saying different things about all kinds of stuff. Like, there's never really any middle ground for anything. That's why, it's called a personal relationship. Don't depend on somebody else to give you answers to a personal relationship. If you have a husband or a wife, are you going to sit there and run to your friends? Some people do, really, especially females, man. But if you're a mature married couple, and you're mature, just you're mature. You're not going to sit there and run to, if you have a problem with your husband or your wife, take it to your spouse. The same thing with a relationship with God. God uses the analogy of marriage all the time. The bride of Christ and marriage and all this other stuff. Obviously it doesn't mean, it just means marriage, as far as in, like, a tight like, we're all put here for a relationship with God, period. I wasn't put here for you, and you weren't put here for me. We need each other. We love each other. Really. If I didn't have people around me, I'd be drawing all over the walls, and I'd be drawing cartoon characters on the wall, naming them Fred and Alan and Michael and David and all kinds of weird names. That's just how we do it, man. Somebody, you get trapped on a deserted island, you're going to start drawing faces on a coconut and naming it, whatever you decide to name it. It's just like that, man. We all need one another. We're social beings, whether we like to admit it or not. That's just the way it is. So I'm not saying don't love one another. I'm not saying don't love people. You're supposed to. God calls us to. He doesn't call us to be doormats. That's not even what he was. You could read the story about the temple and figure that out for yourself. A lot of people think, well, children of God are we're supposed to just roll over for people and let people mistreat us, because if we don't roll over for the world, then we're not being godly. Man, that is such a cop out and a lie. I roll over for no one, not you, and no one. It's not about pride. It's just about, dude, I'm not a toolbox. I'm not gonna let you walk on me. And it's this world has a horrible view of the children of God. They think that we need to be doormats and whatever they think. I don't know, but it's not about pride. I mean, sure, do I have a little pride problem like everyone else? Yeah. I was born that way and so were you. But you know what? That's between me and God. I'm working that out. But as far as all this other stuff about children of God are supposed to just roll over for the rest, everybody else. And if you know, if we show a flash of, sticking up for ourselves, and then we're just not godly people. Well, you obviously know nothing about God. I'm still learning, yes, but I'm also not a doormat. I ain't gonna roll over for no one. So, the finished work of Christ, that's basically it. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, it's finished. On the cross, he defeated all that stuff. He defeated the evil in the world, and it's all boom. The chains are cut, man. So just rest in that, get to know that, and leave your faith there. Don't focus anywhere else. A lot of we like to get caught up in ourselves, in what we want, in our thoughts, in just the world. I mean, it's out there. I mean, this is the world we live in. We're not living with God yet. We're not in hell or heaven. We're here, and we're amongst one another. And in this world, in this country, there's a lot of distractions. We have TV, we have this, we have that, we have our jobs, we have our kids, we have our cars or whatever. I mean, our cell phones. It's so easy to get distracted. If it's not one thing, it's another. You're taking the kids here, you're taking the kids there, and you gotta, days go by so fast. I mean, really, they do. They really, really do. And trust me, I know. But so I don't know. Whatever. I just kind of rambling on here. So I mean, that's just the finished work of Christ. So just focus in on that and learn about it, and really seek God on it, because and it's probably not gonna happen overnight. It could, but probably won't. So don't expect anything to happen overnight. It might even take a few years. I mean, whatever. Like I said, I'm not God. Whenever God decides to help you out is when he'll help you out. And if he doesn't take it out of your life for right away, well, I'm sure there's a purpose for it. But just get to know him through his word. Pray for discernment, spiritual discernment, and discernment out here. I mean, get to know him through his word, through prayer, and fellowship. Go, get to a church, a real church. That's preaching the cross and the finished work. And church doesn't have to be perfect. See, a lot of people I don't really have churches near me, like Christian churches. I have a lot of Catholic churches. I live in a Catholic neighborhood. So, I mean, no churches around here really fit my need. But there's actually a Christian church right down the street that I do go to. But it's a Christian church. But even, it's really all I have right here. I mean, I just started going there, so I still have my feelers out. I'm still trying to really feel the whole church, that church down there. I mean, I go to Bible study there, and I missed church the past 2 weeks because I just wasn't feeling well. And then this past Sunday, I didn't fall asleep until like super, super late. And then by the time I woke up, I mean, like for church, I had 5 minutes to get there, and it wasn't happening. So really, yeah, I mean, just get to a church and all that stuff, and have God lead you in one. But I mean, don't hold out on going to church just because it's not perfect, because it's not really about you, it's about God. So just make sure that it's, if you are holding out for perfection, make sure it's not your perfection, make sure it's God's perfection. And God's perfection is probably not going to be your perfection, just so you know. So pray that you're your wills line up, your will lines up with his will. Have a nice night.